Alright, welcome back. I'm going to show you exactly why you're not getting any replies to your cold messages. I'm going to show you why you're most likely struggling when it comes to client acquisition. I'm going to show you the 4 parts that I think you should look out for when building your offer and your hook. And by the way, big caveat, it all really boils down to your offer as well as your hook. I'm going to explain everything I know about offers as well as hooks today in this video. But with that in mind, let's just get into the video. All right, let's go. So I'll quickly explain a good offer versus a bad offer, what the differences are, and the 4 parts that makes up an offer. But before that, I'll just quickly explain like why you might not be getting enough replies, why you might be stuck acquiring clients. It really only boils down to basically your offer isn't clear or your hook is just not strong enough. Most people overcomplicate this, but in reality, success only boils down to a few things. So like I said, an offer has 4 parts to it. It has an intro, a hook, a call to action, and finally a guarantee, which is optional. You can remove it, but it's just going to weaken the offer. So take that into consideration. So what are the 4 parts, right? Number 1, there's an intro. It grabs your attention. Use a compelling headline from templates below. I'll show you exactly what they are. Make sure your audience feels like the content was made specifically for them. All right, so it's very, very important. Otherwise, it's just going to go over their head and you're not going to get anything from it, right? So next is hook. So this is, I would say, the most important. So you must present a problem, right? Focus on a specific pain point, struggle, or misconception your niche faces. So, for example, you could do most online coaches struggle with client acquisition, ... and then you come in and explain how you fix it, right? So that is done. Once you have that, number 3 is the call to action. So basically invite the pursuit, encouraging engagement using if-then statements. Mind if I send you a short video explaining how this works, right? Something like this. I'll tell you a little bit more detail on every single one. This is just going to be like an overview so you understand the 4 parts of it. So basically next is, well, the optional, right? But I would say it is detrimental if you skip the guarantee, but you can, so it's not necessary, right? So this is the risk reversal. So you want to reverse all risk a prospect faces by creating a win-win situation and a no-brainer offer they would feel stupid saying no to, right? And you want to create something that if you were sent that as like a cold outreach message, you would number 1 like reply to and think about, like, for example, if you have an offer that you yourself personally would not engage with, just go back to the drawing board and think of something else, because at that point it is really not compelling enough. So a guarantee could be like, try for 14 days. If you're not blown away, I'll personally send you all your money back, right? So this is high level overview. Let's go a little bit more in depth into each of them. So intro, again, we talked about this. I have written up 3 types of intros you could do, but it's just simply made to hook them in, right? Like something you talk about, like a specific problem they're facing, like specifically, the goal is to make it feel like it was made specifically for them, right? So number 1 is the problem solution intro. So you could say, hey, struggling to book consistent sales calls, and that would be the intro, right? Then you can always like come up with the hook after this. Or you could do, you've been posting daily but no one engages, sick of spending hours in DM but no results. So this is sort of like questioning their current beliefs. It identifies the pain point and, well, it doesn't promise the solution, but it, once you connect it with the hook, then it's going to promise the solution, right? So this is just the intro themselves I put here for you, and then we'll all make it sense at the end. So when we combine the intro, the hook, and everything else, it's going to flow very nicely, right? Next, we have the shock and curiosity. You could do like, I wasted 20,000 on bad courses before I figured this out, ... and then you can say what that was. This one tweak added 30K to my revenue without ads, without cold calling. Most businesses fail because of this one simple mistake, right? It creates curiosity and it hooks those people in, right? Next, we could do bold, controversial claim intro, like cold calling is dead, ... and then you go on to explain something better, maybe an alternative, or just a better way to do cold calling, right? Posting on social media daily is a waste of time, right? 90% of agencies on the chart. This is like controversial, right? Because it challenges common beliefs. Because you would think like cold calling is still like very relevant. Like, what do you mean I undercharge? Most people told me I should, be competitive, etc., etc. So you can always just use a simple hey first line as your intro. But if you add something like this after that, it is just going to make it that much more better. And overall, make sure to focus all your attention, I would say like 90% on the hook, which is coming up next. Right, so hook is by far the most important aspect to any offer. So if your audience isn't engaging with your content, it is because your hook isn't strong enough or your offer isn't clear. I had to repeat this because it is just so important. So I want this drilled in your head. If people are not giving you attention, you're sending out messages, cold DMs, cold SMS, whatever, and you're not getting anything, it is most likely, again, because your offer isn't clear or the hook itself isn't strong enough. So I'll give you some examples of good versus bad hooks. So for example, a bad one could be I help businesses grow. I don't even need to explain why this is bad, but basically, right, it's just way too generic. You don't call out the ICP. It doesn't give them curiosity, right? Like, I'm sure you could say, like, how does he help me grow? But realistically, no. Next, a good one could be I help roofing contractors get 15 to 20 new leads per month without spending a dime on ads. All right, so this is quite a decent hook because number one, you call out the ICP, so roofing contractors. You mention something specific that they want, right? 15, 20 new leads per month. You give them a time frame as well without spending money or a dime on ads, right? Like generally the way these people get new business in the door is they do a lot of Facebook ads or Google ads, right? And if you say, oh, we're not going to do that and you're going to get this, they're going to be intrigued. If you put something like a guarantee after this, right? Like something like, could be this. We'll talk about that a little more at the end, but you can see it's night and day between this offer, right? Basically the difference is, again, like I said, the first one, it is too broad and vague. It doesn't specifically say anything, doesn't solve any pain points. The other one just sets clear expectations and drives home that pain point, right? So the formula for a strong hook is who you will help, so your niche, what specific results do you deliver them, a clear outcome, what system methods you use, so basically your unique process. So if you keep this in mind, you're not going to have any problems. I'll break down everything a little bit further so you can understand like what elements you could use inside your hook. There's basically 5, very simple. I color coded each of them for you so you can easily understand what's going on. But basically like this, there's a desired end results. That's one of the 5 essential elements. You don't need to include every single one of them, but these are the ones you can like pick from when creating your hook, right? So what that means is your audience, what did they really want, right? Like be specific. Time frame, I think that's quite self-explanatory, but like how fast can they get it? The shorter the better. Ideally stick to realistic time frames, because even if like something you can promise them like instantly, you might want to frame it with like some sort of social proof, because you don't want to create a hook that is unbelievable, right? So if you were to receive that as like a cold message and you have no idea about like your service, you need to think on the other end, like if I receive this and I don't know anything about this, can I trust it? Then next is the benefit, like a selfish desire. Why do they want it? Emotional motivators work best. I'll show examples on all of these, don't worry. Without conviction, without challenge or fear. So what's stopping them? Address their biggest obstacles, right? And then finally, you could use something like a system, so unique system. A great hook makes your audience feel like the post was made just for them, right? Like speaking one-to-one, like sort of like this video we're doing here. All right, so just examples for each of them. So desired end result. This is the direct address hook. Use a niche specific word and basically just direct address your audience, right? So how you could do this, for example, is how to get 10 high-paying clients without overworking yourself. How to add 30 pounds to your deadlift without injuring yourself. How to lose 10 pounds without starving yourself, right? Like these are very, very easy and common, I would say, like desire or end results. And these are very common like objections most people like give themselves when they want to achieve this. Like for example, I want to lose 10 pounds, but I don't want to starve myself. That's usually like what people say. Or how to lose 10 pounds while still eating pizza, right? You could definitely do that as well. So it is just again like without the challenge or fear. Or you could do like, you could always like make it like sort of like a variation of it where it's not without, but with, which is like the opposite of people think what it would come with, like the opposite of the fear or the challenge, right? Like for example, you would not think I could eat pizza and lose weight, which is something theoretically true. So for example, if you require 2000 calories every single day to maintain yourself, if you eat in a calorie deficit, for example 1500 calories each day, and you just eat pizza, you're gonna lose weight, right? And this is how you frame it as a good hook. Next is time frame. So it's a time-based hook. People want results fast, so use time-engaged language to increase the urgency. So examples could be how to lose 10 pounds in 10 days without starving yourself. Or variation, you don't just need to use like in 10 days, in 1 month, in 1 year, in a certain period. You could do something like how to add 10K to your business instantly, right? Or overnight, or how landed 5 clients overnight using this one-click appointment booking system, right? Shorter the better. Overall, just be realistic. Next is the benefit, selfish desire hook. People aren't just looking for results. They want what those results will give them, right? So think of like this, like how to lose 30 pounds so you can look incredible on the beach, like so you can show off that six-pack on the beach. How to build a six-figure business so you can quit that 9 to 5 and you can finally travel, right? How to get 10 high-paying clients so you can buy yourself that dream car. Identify their real motivation, status, freedom, confidence, security, whatever. And you can leverage this just like in this example here. All right, next is without fear or challenge. We use this quite a lot in these examples as well, so you should already know. But basically, how to get high-paying clients without cold calling, how to lose 10 pounds without giving up on pizza, how to build a six-figure business even if you have zero experience. The best hooks remove common fears and excuses. I would say like this is the most simplest one by far. And again, you can combine all of these, I'll show you in a bit. But finally, through a system like a custom system, so you can use a custom solution for your name or product that sounds unique and it is going to spark curiosity. I'll give you an example. So how to get 10 high-paying contracts through a one-point booking system. How to reduce anxiety through an ancient Chinese stretching routine. How to feel motivated to work out again through a 30-minute workout sprint routine, right? It adds mystery and makes them think, what could that be, right? And then we have, next up is the call to action. I would say, again, like this was like the meat of it. So if you understand what I've shown you here today in this hook section, you're definitely going to make killer offers, right? But next is, still have to cover it. It is very simple, the call to action. So you must tell people where to go next. And if you don't, they are going to get lost, right? You could do a direct call to action, a hard call to action, and a soft one. I'll tell you exactly the differences. The direct one is subtle, but conversational. Like warmer leads, networking, low pressure work quite a lot better for this. So for example, it could be something like, if I said I could get you 10 qualified leads this week, would you be interested, right? Next is a hold call to action, is something like for hot leads, direct sales, booking calls. Let's hop on a 15-minute call. Here's my calendar. I can solve this for you. You can grab a slot here, book a strategy session, right? So point is just straight to the point, no fluff, if they're already interested, right? Next is a soft call to action. This is best for cold leads, so I recommend sticking with this unless you have reason to do otherwise. But basically it's like this, like, mind if I send you a short video explaining how this works? I put together a free guide on topic. Want me to send it over? Want me to send over a case study showing exactly how we did this? So again, it just removes the pressure and it feels like a value-driven offer, right? Great for lead nurturing, follow-ups, and easy for people to say yes. So overall, really, that's the goal. If you're doing like cold outreach, this is what you should do. Finally, we have the guarantee itself. This is the risk reversal. A strong guarantee eliminates fear and makes your offer basically a no-brainer, right? So I've given you 3 examples. You could think of more, but you could do a money-back guarantee, a performance guarantee, or experience guarantee. I recommend doing a performance guarantee, and the reason why is because it protects you as well as the client. I'll show you exactly what the differences are. But first, let's start off with the money-back guarantee, right? This is the ultimate risk reversal. Example could be, if you don't book at least 10 calls in 30 days, I'll refund you every single penny. Here's some more examples, but basically it feels safe for them knowing they cannot lose, right? So ideally, this is what you want to do. You want to remove all the pressure, all the anxiety they have going into a deal, or just, an offer in general. Like, the point is not to sell them at this point. The point is to get them hooked with your offer, and the guarantee just helps with that a ton. So we have a performance guarantee as well. So it could be like, I get 10 high ticket clients in the next 60 days, or we work for free. So it could be like, you guarantee 10 clients for them in, again, like 60 days. If after the 60 days you manage to get them 11 clients, good, you completed the guarantee. If you get them only 7 clients, then basically you can refund them if they want that. That's what it means, right? So, or we work for fees, generally like they refund you the money. So that's what you should think of. The good thing about it is if the client agrees to, okay, awesome, like worst case scenario, I get my money back and maybe a client or two, or I get 10 high paying clients. Like this is, I would say, by far the best for both parties. So it basically just shows confidence in your offer. And finally, we have the experience guarantee. So it just, again, like eliminates buyer hesitation. But all of these, to be honest, like all the guarantees. So you could do something like love it or leave it, no contracts, no pressure. I would do something like this for like SaaS or lower ticket items. This is 100% risk-free. If you don't love it, you don't pay anything, right? It reduces hesitation and just removes pressure. Right, so for like bigger, higher ticket offers, I recommend doing performance guarantee. For low ticket SaaS, just do this, right? Or you could even do this, whatever you want. But basically, most people should choose this. All right, so final thoughts, how to apply this. Just pick one hook formula and then use it in your next piece of offer. Write out an offer using the frameworks I provided below. Use a strong call to action to drive conversions. Basically, it's like this. You're welcome to use this offer hook creation framework I've given you here. All you need to do is just come here to this document. I have this linked in the second link in the description. So if you want access to it, you can just get it through there. And all you need to do is just make a copy, name it whatever you want, and come back to it. And then you can edit your own variations in. I recommend if you're at this part of the video, just pause the video and do this and come back to the end, what I'm about to say, once you have written out this offer, because it's going to make a little bit more sense. So I want you to pause the video right now and try to write at least 5 of these simple hooks, plus the final one, the bonus one, if you want to do it, and then come back when you have done it. All right, so for those who just skipped around, well, shame on you, but if you have waited and created your own offer, let me show you what I had in mind for you. Right, so just to wrap things up, I have given you at the very bottom some examples of direct access hook, time-based hooks, selfish desire hooks, challenge-based hooks, and some extra stuff I haven't talked yet in this video about, but it's all related again to the 5 elements of a high converting hook. And then finally, I've given some ultimate formulas as well and offers that basically like stood the test of times, and some famous marketing slogans. You can read through this. Again, you can just make a copy of this document if you want, but this was basically it. Now you understand how to create a killer offer and basically the parts that make up any strong offer, right? So again, just think about the intro, the hook, the call to action, final guarantee. If you can nail these, you're not going to have any problem reaching out to people and making it feel like the content was made specifically for them. A lot of people again just complicate this. You really shouldn't. If you get lost, just come back to this document, and if you just want examples, just come to the offer creation framework I linked here for you at the bottom of the description. And again, it's going to be the second link in the description. So with this in mind, if you got like any value out of this, and if you want to thank me for taking my time to create it, like and subscribe would be highly appreciated. But yeah, with that in mind, this was it, and I'll see you in the next one.